Okay, so here are the first of the problems I wanted you to do. So the fourth root of 195,000. So we break it up into groups of 4. So we've got 19 and 5,000. And we put our little line across that. And so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to look at the 19. So 2 to the 4th is 16. So we subtract 16 from 19. And so we're going to put up 2 up here. So we know that the answer is 20 something. So when we subtract 16 from 19, we get 3. Okay, so next, for the next digit, we're going to work on 35,000. So we know then to figure out that first digit, we're looking at 20 plus x to the 4th equals 195,000. So we've subtracted off the 20 to the 4th from 195,000. So we're going to get 35,000 over here. And then over here, we're going to get 4 times 20 cubed times x plus 6 times 20 squared times x squared plus 4 times 20 times x cubed plus x to the 4th. So we find the 4, 6, and the 4 from the Pascal's triangles. So writing this out in our efficient form, we get x plus 80 times x plus 2,400 times x plus 32,000, which is 4 times 20 cubed, right, times x, and we want that to be less than or equal to 35,000. And we don't really have to put any effort into it much at all because we've got the 32,000 here, so we see that the answer up here is going to be 1. Okay, and then if we just plug in 1 into that, we get our number, which we then subtract from this, and we see that we get a remainder of 519. Okay, and so the answer is going to be 21,519. And what's this going to be over? This is going to be over 22 to the 4th minus 21 to the 4th, which is 39,775. And that is our answer. Okay, here's the second problem, a bit of Egyptian multiplication and addition. So let's do 34 times 18. There's actually 2 ways to do this problem. You can either start working on the 34 or working on the 18. So I'm going to start on the 34, but it's perfectly all right to do the other way as well. So you go 34, and we think of that as 1, so we double things. So 68, get to 2, double it again, we're going to get 136 and 4, double it again, 272 and 8, double it again, get 544 and 16. And now we stop because if we double 16, we're going to get past 18. Okay, so we down here, and then we check off, we want 18, so 18 is 16 and 2. So here are the 2 things that we want. So we add the 68 to the 544, and we get 612. And that's the multiplication. Let's now do the division. So we want to do 93 divided by 5. So we're interested in 5 times what gives us 93. Okay, so we're going to work with the 5. and that's going to be our 1, right? So we do our usual thing, we double things, 10 and 2, 20 gives us 4, 40, double it 8, 80, divided by 16, and we stop because we don't want to go beyond 93. So, okay, so we got to, so what do we got to do? We've got to start working with fractions now. So we can look at the 5 and we can halve that. So halving the 5 is 2.5. So I'm writing things in Egyptian style. Okay, so now we're pretty good, right? Because we want to get to 93. So we can see that the 10 is going to, 10 and the 80 is going to give us 90. And then the here is, we see we're going to get to 92.5, so we're short by a half. So how do we get a half? Well, we get a half by taking a fifth of the 2.5. We're taking a fifth of that, gives us a tenth. Okay, and so then 10 plus 80 plus 2.5 plus a half gives us 93. So we add up the corresponding things, and we see that our answer is 18 and a half and a tenth. Okay, keeping it in nice Egyptian fashion. Okay, so now we've got our, to try and do this without doing it in the Egyptian style. So we've got, start off with a quarter, an eighth, a tenth, a 30th, and a 45th. And we want to get this to 2/3. So you write that as like that. Okay, so my hint was to multiply by 45, and let's see what happens. Well, 45 times a quarter gives us 11 1/4. 45 times an eighth gives us 5 5/8, which is a half and an eighth. 45 times a tenth is 4 1/2. 45 times a 30th is 1 1/2. And 45 times a 45th is just 1. And over here we're going to get 30. Okay, now we can start tidying things up again. So what do we got? We've got a 1 here, a 1, 2, 6, 11, 22. 2 halves gives us 23. And we're going to have 7 left over there. Okay, so we've got a quarter, an eighth, and a half. Okay, so let's just multiply by 8 and see where that gets us. So that gives us a 2, a 1, and a 4, gives us a 56. And so the 2, 1, and the 4 gives us a 7, subtracting the 7 from that gives us 49. So we've put everything in terms of integers. Now it's time to reverse things. We want to now divide by 360, right? Because we've multiplied by 45 and multiplied by 8, that's multiplying by 360. So we want to divide by 360. Now, the thing is, we can't do 49 divided by 360, but if we write 49 as 40 and 9, and now divide by 360, we get 40 divided by 360 is a 9th, and 9 divided by 360 is a 40th. And that's our answer. As you can see, there's different other ways that you can write it, and you would get, because this method is not unique. Okay.